Hello, I'm Melody,
And I'm Mr. Money.
and welcome back to Figuring It Out. So, last episode, we uncovered a little bit about insurance and why it matters to fresh grads. This time, I want to discuss something a little bit more technical as well. I believe it is very, very relevant right now because it is, well, how can I say this? It is tax season.
Yeah, tax season. Like I think it's Christmas and right?
I'm not sure whether most people like tax season as much as you do.
No lah. I'm not happy tax season, but I'm just trying to be funny. Right?
Okay. Okay, so
超冷笑话.
this is dad jokes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I noticed in some of our comments last episode that someone specifically commented about taxes. And they mentioned that they recently changed jobs. They realized that they have to file taxes for their previous job and their current job.
Yeah.
So how can they go about this? But before I want you to answer that question,
Okay.
I want you to answer this question first. So what exactly is taxes? We're just figuring it out. I believe it's important to give context to our audience before they understand how it works.
So taxes means cukai.
Okay, I know that. But can you elaborate a bit about what taxes
All right.
are?
How it works is that because we live in a country and the country provide you a lot of facilities. So as much as you don't feel it, a lot of things that you take for granted. For example, like roads.
Oh.
Yeah. For example, like there are civil servants who actually manage the registration of your IC. There are hospitals, right? There are all sorts of stuff that's happening behind the background that we kind of take it for granted usually lah.
Oh, like government schools as well.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
see.
And who's paying it? Government. Where government get money? They tax you.
Oh, that's how they
Ding,
make
ding.
money.
So this is what's gonna happen. Generally for students, you don't feel much about tax, right? No.
Correct, because it's not really relevant to us.
Correct. Your first year working, right? You also don't feel that much yet. When you start paying more tax, suddenly you'll be very concerned how your money is being spent.
Oh.
And that's when you will start to complain. Why the road like that? Why the hospital like that? Why education like
No
that?
wonder. Like I always hear comments, people will be like, I pay tax to the country. Why is there so many potholes? I don't understand. What are they doing?
Correct. So you won't feel it now because you're not paying ma. So imagine, right, if let's say you are earning, say 200,000 lah, and you are paying, say 30,000 in tax a year. 30,000, how would you feel?
That's a lot.
Yeah, and then you see a pothole in front of your house.
I pay 30,000 for a pothole.
Correct.
I see.
And that's when you start to pay attention to things like politics, current issues, national economics. That's why you notice people who are more paying attention to such topics generally are the older crowd, or either they are quite high income earning.
I see. No wonder all these topics are interesting to them because it's relevant to them.
Yes, it's my money. What? How's it being spent?
Correct. Okay. Now I know. Because all this while I was like, how can people be so interested in quote unquote boring topics? Okay. Not everyone finds it boring, but sometimes I do.
Yeah.
So until it affects me, maybe I won't find
Correct.
it boring.
So you think about it, right? Your salary is your tax that you're paying is being used to pay for the salary of all the ministers and MPs.
They better do their damn job.
Correct. So now you'll be interested, no?
I see. Okay. Now that we understand a little bit about tax, I think for this topic, because tax is such a broad topic, I've noticed that our audience are more on the younger end. So what is more relevant to them would most likely be personal income tax.
That's right.
So can you elaborate a little bit about personal income tax and what is it?
Personal income tax basically means based on the income that you earn as a person. Okay? How much are you going to pay in terms of tax? So suddenly you may be thinking, why a person? Because this person could be owning a business. Then you pay a business income tax. It's a different thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're not running a business, you are unemployed, it's a personal income tax.
Okay, let's say, because you're a business owner, so you pay business tax. And I am someone that has an income, so I pay personal income tax.
That's right. But
I
because
see.
I'm an employee of my own company,
Oh.
I also pay a personal income tax. On top of that, my company pays another income tax for business.
I see. Okay, so personal income tax is for people that has an income, essentially.
Yes, essentially at the
Okay.
moment you have an income, okay? and your income is above 3,111 ringgit, or in other words, 37,333 ringgit, you should be filing an income tax.
Okay, so it's only above a certain amount of number.
That's
So
right.
it's not according to age.
That's
or-
right.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of personal income tax, is there a reason why we should be paying for personal income tax?
So they don't go jail.
Okay. Because it's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory, and
I
also you
see.
don't get fined as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you know what's the most scary body and most efficient body in the whole Malaysia actually?
Which?
Tax.
Serious?
Okay, let me give you a perspective on how important is it or how scary it is, right, in that sense.
Okay.
My dad passed away many, many years ago, right? A few years after he passed away, we received a letter from LHDN
Oh my God.
to ask, where's your income tax?
What do you mean? He passed away.
But before that, he never found.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter whether you die or alive, someone has to pay your income tax.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Income tax has such a big authority that they can check your bank account, how much you have inside.
Serious? I thought it's
Yes.
PNC.
No, because they never pay. So then they have this kind of power to do so. Definitely, they will say under certain condition, but generally they have this kind of power to do such a thing, right? They have the power to actually literally bar you from exiting a country. So let's say if you refuse to pay your income tax, you could be barred from exiting the airport. So it happened before when people refuse to pay their income tax, and then what happened is when they're at the airport, they want to travel, suddenly they cannot leave the country.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing your duties or responsibilities as a citizen, is it?
That's right.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have to pay your income tax, please pay.
That's right.
Okay, so one thing about tax is everyone finds it a burden. Okay, not everyone, but most people don't really like to
Let's be
file
honest,
taxes.
everyone.
Okay, but not okay. True.
It's just whether do you end up happily pay or you curse like nobody's business as you pay, right?
That's true. Okay, so but do you think if there are any personal benefits to declaring taxes or to filing taxes?
Okay, definitely there are. I think first thing that it is a blessing to pay tax.
What do you mean?
Okay, now why do I say that? You
Like-
think about it. What is income tax? Means you got income.
Correct.
So is there a blessing that you have income?
Okay,
if you don't
now
have to
that-
pay, means you got no income,
Now that you put it into perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the question is, how much of an income they are taking from you that makes it burden or not burdensome? But I think that's the part that we will likely be covering later on reliefs, all these kind of things. Yeah. So what is the general benefit of paying income tax?
Okay.
Income tax is extremely important, especially when you want to buy a house, take up a loan in future.
Oh.
Yes. That is one of the best way of proving that you actually have an income.
I see.
Yeah. So some people actually do not file tax. It is very hard for them to buy a house.
Or even take up a loan in general.
That's right. Yeah. And if let's say you don't file income tax, you buy the house by cash,
Then it's suspicious.
highly suspicious. You should be taking a loan. In fact, anyone who actually is thinking about buying a house, it's not recommended that you buy with cash, simply because you're going to alert tax authorities to say that you are that rich
What are you doing?
to buy in cash. Because there's they will check the transaction list that who pay in cash, they will flag it on.
Wow.
Because where on earth you find 700,000, 1 million cash?
That's true. That's true.
So something is funny, right? So why not I'll just send you a letter and say, hey, could you show me an audit of your tax?
Oh, so again, this is all about showing that you are a responsible citizen who's abiding by the laws, is it?
That's right. Yeah. So that in future when you buy property, you can just show the thing, then you can buy property. You can go and get the loan.
So
It proves your income.
Is this applicable for all loans?
It's not for all loans, but most loans, yes. Yeah, most loans they will request for an EA form, or either they request for your tax filing, report, and then your salary income slip, that kind of thing.
I
It's
see.
part of the document make up to prove that you have an income.
Wow, there's so many documents.
Yep.
Okay. Well, speaking of documents, you mentioned this thing called EA form. I believe most people who recently graduated or just started their first job is unaware of what EA form is. Could you please elaborate a little bit?
Okay, an EA form is basically a summary of the income of an employee over the year.
Oh, so it's on an annual basis.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh.
So when you pay tax, you pay on an annual basis. So let's say that you're working with us, right?
Correct.
So by year end, you will always receive this thing called an EA form. Actually, not year end, next year. right? You'll receive this EA form. The EA form will say how much is your income, your gross salary, how much you paid to, say, EPF, those kind of things. Is there any other benefits that I've given you? Then it will list a full picture of how much money you have received, whether is it in the form of cash or benefit in kind. Benefit in kind meaning if, say, I buy you a phone. Yeah, that's called in kind.
Oh. So that one also has to be stated in the EA form.
Yes, definitely depend on the company. Some a bit lazy state, they don't take all. Then they just, you use the phone or. Yeah.
So it's more of like anything that's transactional has about that employee has to be recorded.
That's
down.
right.
I see. Okay. So in terms of more documents, as I was reading the LHDN website, I noticed that there's this thing called a gross salary fill, and there's also chargeable income. Can you explain a little bit what's the difference between these two?
So when it comes to filing an income tax and understanding your tax itself, right? Say today you earn 5,000 ringgit a month. It doesn't mean that this full amount is charged for tax. So what you will do is you will take a look at this 5,000, you will minus a bunch of reliefs. We call it reliefs, right?
Okay.
After you minus, say 9,000 for individual, then maybe say you bought an EV charger, you get another 2,005 minus, like that. So let's say in total you minus off 10K. So your annual income is 60,000 because 5,000. Now you minus off 10K, then it's only 40,000 as chargeable income.
Oh, so they only charge after deducting all reliefs.
That's right.
I
Because
see.
they also pay, they also take into consideration with the fact that you need to survive.
Oh, how considerate.
But 9,000 ringgit a month, a year lah.
That's better than zero.
Okay lah, fair.
See, it's all about perspective, correct?
Oh,
I'm
good.
learning. Okay. So in terms of paying taxes, do I have to pay tax if I earn below the chargeable income? I know previously you mentioned that the chargeable income is 37,000, correct? 37,000. So if I earn below the chargeable income, do I have to pay tax or?
So these days, most of us, if you work for a company, your tax is being auto-paid. Because what happens is that there's this thing called Potongan Cukai Bulanan, PCB.
Oh.
So what happens is that they will automatically calculate a certain portion, straight away deduct it from your account, pay to LHDN first.
So I don't have to do it myself?
So you don't have to do it yourself. Now, if you're earning less than that, usually they won't deduct anything.
Oh,
So because they are not deducting anything, so you don't have to pay tax because you're not entitled. But then now the question is, do you file tax?
I
right?
see.
Why do you need to file or not file is this. Okay. How I know maybe you got rental income?
Oh.
How I know maybe you did freelance? How I know maybe you have some other sources? This is just your company
Main
give you a
income.
salary
I
or
see.
maybe outside job more than your company salary.
Correct.
So then they will want you to file a tax to show that you actually have no other income. Now, so how it works is that generally from what I've seen is that people who earn below this amount and they don't have other income, they won't go and file one. Yeah. And you won't get into trouble because you don't have other income. But can you be sure that they won't suddenly audit you and say, hey, can you show me proof?
Oh, so this is more of like documents in case if anything happens. Okay, so just now, before we were filming, I was actually talking to one of our colleagues, Suki. And as we were discussing about taxes, she said that even if you do earn below chargeable income, you are supposed to declare income by yourself. Is that true?
That's right. Just like what we said earlier, under the EA form, we already say that you have, say, 35,000, right? That's what my EA form say because I gave you 35,000.
But I have to own self do so.
Yeah. But maybe you got 3-4 company. Maybe you got 5 company.
Correct.
Maybe you got 6 company.
Maybe a part-time somewhere.
Maybe a part-time somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know, ma. So you need to tell government that.
I see.
Now, so because not every transaction I need to tell government that I'm paying you. For example, maybe I hired you as a freelance editor for extra 2,000 ringgit a month. That's 24,000 ringgit a year. Although you earn 35,000.
Add on 24.
And on
then
24. Now you're taxable.
I see.
But because when I pay you, I send it to you via invoice or those kind of things, it's not an employment. So
it is still income.
I won't give you a year form. But for you, it's still an income. You have invoice. You should actually
declare
file
myself.
and declare.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I saw this term on LHDN website and I started reading about it. It's called marginal tax rate. But even after reading, I'm still quite confused. Could you elaborate a little bit about what marginal tax rate is?
What it means is that when you earn an income, when LHDN charge you the tax, they don't charge you on the whole income, but rather on an incremental basis.
Wait, could you elaborate? What do you mean by incremental basis?
By the way, if you love stories about money, whether it's about people getting scammed, people build a lot of wealth overnight, or strike a lottery, or even build career and end of the day becoming millionaire, all sorts of stuff, you can check out Malaysia Money Stories, where our users send in their own personal stories about money. And sometimes it can get really, really juicy. And if you have a juicy story yourself, do send it over. Check out Malaysia Money Stories on Instagram. 20,001 to 35,000 is one bracket.
Okay.
Then 35,001 to 50,000 one bracket. Like that lah. You keep going down lah.
So until it hits 100.
Until it hit 100.
Okay.
Each of these small bracket will have its own different tax rate.
I see.
So we calculate based on, let's say 100k, right? Your first 0 to 5,000, we charge you 0.
Wow. So total annually, if I earn 5,000, is 0%.
Correct.
Okay.
So I give you free first. Okay.
Okay.
Then 5,001 to 20,000, this amount here, I charge you 1%. So in actual fact, it is only about 14,999 ringgit lah. Punya 1% lah.
I see.
Yeah. Then done already. Then now we look at the 20,001 to 35,000, another 14,999 ringgit makes up this number. This amount I charge you 3%. And then the next bracket I charge you 8, next bracket I charge you 14, next bracket I charge you 21.
Okay, wait. So does it mean that if I earn, let's say, 5,001 to 20,000, charge 1% is 1% of overall income? And
No.
same goes for all brackets?
No.
Then how
So
can you
only
calculate?
based on the bracket. So imagine, right, if you're looking at an income of say 100,000 ringgit, you fall into what we call a tax bracket of 21%.
Oh,
So in your head now, you must be thinking, right, 21% is 21,000.
correct.
Correct, right? But
That's a lot.
But this is not how it works. How it works is this, okay? You only pay 9,400 ringgit.
That's so much more, so much lesser than what you just mentioned.
Correct. Yeah.
How does that work?
Why leh? Because like I mentioned earlier, right? Your first 5,000 of that 100k, how much do you pay?
1%.
Okay, so how much do you left right now that you need to pay tax? 95,000, right? Okay, so we break it down again. Your next chunk, 5,001 to 20,000, is only 1%. Let me give you another example to help you understand it better.
Okay.
Let's say today you're earning 80,000 ringgit. Okay, remember earlier I talked about the bracket?
Yes.
Yeah. So from 0 to 5,000 is 0%, 5,001 to 20,000 is 1%, 20,001 to 35,000 is 3%. So I tamba all these add together up to 70k, right? It's only 3,700 ringgit.
Wow.
Okay.
So I add according to the percentages until I reach the 80k tax bracket.
Okay.
So it's
Correct. So you see up to 70k, you are paying 3,700 ringgit. Right? Now, but remember you're earning 80k, right? Chargeable income?
correct.
So now you got extra 10%. I'm sorry. Now you got extra 10,000. This 10,000, because it exceeded the 70,000 bracket, okay, now what happened is that this 10,000, you will need to charge a 19% of this 10,000.
Oh.
So now this 10,000 will be 1,900 ringgit. So it will be 1,900 ringgit plus 3,700 ringgit.
So when you mention 80k, in terms of the 80k tax bracket, how many percent is that again?
You will be looking at the bracket between 70k to 100k lo, and that bracket is a 25% bracket.
I see. So it's not 25% of the overall chargeable income, but more or less of you add together from first 5,000 then to 5,000 to 20,000 tax bracket. Then from 20,000 to 40,000, I assume. And then
Correct.
until you reach 80.
So let's change the whole thing lah. We make it very easy to understand lah.
Okay.
So this is what we are gonna do. Okay. The first, if you buy one water bottle from me, I charge you 10 ringgit. So let me give you another example, right? So think about it this way, right? Okay. Today I'm the tax man, right? And then what happened is that you go shopping. I will charge you for the things that you buy in. So let's say today you go out to Thailand, you buy this bottle. Okay. My chart will exactly say one. If you buy the first bottle that you bring in from Thailand, I will charge you 1 ringgit.
Oh.
So you bring in one bottle, I charge you 1 ringgit. Okay. Then I have another bracket. Your second bottle up to the 10th bottle, I charge you 50 cents only.
Wow.
So what happened is when you buy 10 bottle, your first bottle, how much you pay me?
1 ringgit.
Your second bottle, how much you pay me?
Cent.
Third bottle,
50 cents.
all the way up to
10.
10 bottle is 50 cents.
Oh, so I add all together.
Now you
Plus
add
the 1
all
ringgit
together,
one.
plus the 1 ringgit, berapa?
Oh.
4 ringgit and 50 cents plus 1 ringgit, 5 ringgit and 50 cents.
Sorry, my math's not good.
but you get the point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's progressive in that manner. Then maybe what I do is that your 11th bottle to the 20th bottle, I charge you only 10 cents.
Wow.
Like that.
I see.
But in this case, in tax, it goes higher, not lower.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for example, your first bottle is 1 ringgit. Your second bottle to the 10th bottle, I charge you 2 ringgit. Yeah. And then your 11th bottle to 20th bottle, I charge 3 ringgit. It goes higher and higher.
So then I add on in total. Okay.
That's right.
So is it cheaper to pay in terms of marginal tax rate or overall just deduct by the entire percentage?
Cheaper for marginal tax.
Oh.
You think about it, 100K, 25% is
25K.
25K. Just now, if let's say we go with the marginal tax rate, you're only paying
9K.
9,600 ringgit. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So marginal is always better.
Okay.
Now you know why people will always say, hey, I need to lower down my bracket.
Okay, but in terms of paying taxes, is there a way where we can legally pay lesser?
Yes. Here's where you use what we call tax reliefs.
What is that?
Yeah. So every year government will come up with this whole list of stuff, that I tell you if you spend on these things, you can take it off your tax so your chargeable income become lower.
No wonder you mentioned just now they're trying to make their chargeable income lower.
Correct.
So to make it lower is by using the reliefs, is it?
That's right. So it's all about using the relief to reduce. Okay. So there are some basic relief that you are given even if you don't spend money to start with.
Oh.
Okay. So for example, an individual relief, which is 9,000. Yeah, you're not spending anything. If you're a disabled individual, another 6,000.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's already stuff like that. So there's a whole list of it which we can attach in the description for people to go and check, right? Now, then the rest of the other stuff, right, will be based on what you spend on. So for example, if you spend on certain educational stuff like professional paper or something like that, you get to claim up to 7,000 ringgit.
Okay, so let's say if I saw this Coursera course online, is it okay? Can I actually claim tax relief for that Coursera course?
For certain Coursera course, yes.
I see.
But better check with your tax consultant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of tax reliefs, I know there's a lot of tax reliefs. What are the tax reliefs that are relevant to fresh grads?
Okay, so definitely there's a long list. That's why I have an iPad today, right? Yeah. Now, let me pick out some of the interesting one for you. Firstly, we are talking about education. Yeah, so if you upskill yourself on certain courses that are allowed to do a deduction, you get to relieve up to 7,000 ringgit. So you spend, then your chargeable income goes down.
I see.
Right? Now, medical expenses?
Even medical?
Yeah. So what kind of medical will be fertility treatment, vaccination, dental examination.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you go and do fertility, okay lah, you so young, no need lah. Yeah. Vaccination, dental examination and treatment, this one got 1,000 ringgit.
Oh my god.
So that's why, like now you start working already, right? yeah, you may be thinking, "Ayo, my mother is not going to pay for dental. I don't want to go."
Correct.
You should actually go because you can reduce your income bracket.
I see.
So never know. Maybe you're in the 40K range. You just minus off a few. Now you don't even need to file tax.
Wow.
Okay, no, you should file tax. Sorry.
You should still declare.
Yeah, you should still declare. Yeah, but you get my point, right?
Yes, correct.
So there's also another one called a lifestyle expenses. So basically, it's for purchase of subscription of books, journal, magazine, and then personal computer, payment for internet bill, against skill improvement, those kind of thing.
Internet bill too?
Yeah, broadband.
Okay,
under
what
your
in terms of
name.
subscription are like YouTube and Netflix subscription allowed? Or only books, movies, or books and TV? Magazine?
No. I don't think those are allowed. Yeah, technically those are not allowed. Yeah, and here's where the personal development course fee comes in as well. So maybe I guess Coursera can plug into this. So that's 2,500 ringgit that you can reduce. Yeah.
I also noticed there was like sports or something. Does it fall under relief as well?
So purchase of sport equipment, payment of rental or entrance to any sport facility. So golfing, pickleball, all these are part of it. Pickleball, is it? I don't think so.
But I got gym membership, I think.
Gym membership, all these got lah. Pickleball, I think eventually will come lah. Wait for the renewal lah. Yeah, all these kind of things are inside. You can claim up to 1,000 ringgit.
As long as I have the receipt.
Yes.
Okay.
So remember the next thing is breastfeeding equipment. But again, you're so young. But who knows? Maybe accidentally, right? Yeah.
That's right.
So that is it. Yeah. And then if you got childcare, like I say, if accident already, then childcare, then 3,000 ringgit lah. Yeah. Your mother must be scolding me when I'm telling you this, right? Yeah. Now another one more thing is life insurance and EPF.
Oh, this one can also be parked under tax relief.
That's right, up to 7,000 ringgit.
Wow.
So if let's say you buy a life insurance policy under your name, self-paying, you can relieve another 7,000 ringgit. Then education and medical insurance, another 3,000 ringgit.
This is on an annual basis.
Yes. So that's why you'll hear some of your friends, right? They'll say, "Oh, year end coming already. Faster go and top up my life insurance."
Oh.
Some people actually say that. Yeah, then they'll do until the max, then they stop. Yeah.
So they can reduce their chargeable income.
That's right. Maximize this whole 10K from education plus education insurance, medical insurance, plus life insurance. Yeah. And then EPF. Now, then there's the other one that's called PRS.
What is PRS?
Private Retirement Scheme. So this one you are entitled to a deduction of up to 3,000 ringgit.
Is this like EPF also?
It is kind of like EPF but private scheme.
I see.
And then EV
charging as well?
installation is 2,500.
Wow. Okay. I mean, this is essentially kind of like free money, is it?
Not exactly. The mentality is that you're going to spend to reduce.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you don't spend, then you become saving, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But then you pay more tax. But then if you choose to spend, then you get to pay less tax. So now you notice this thing, right?
Correct.
Very funny, right?
Oh.
Tax is extremely powerful to direct a country's direction.
What do you mean?
For example, just by saying expenses on charging facility of EV, I give you a tax deduction of 2,500. What do you think now?
I will spend money on getting EV.
Correct.
Oh.
Now, when I say I will give you a tax deduction on sports entrance, now what will you do?
I will go get gym membership.
That's right.
So it's essentially, in a way, tricking us to spend more money.
But in a direction that boosts the national economy or either for your own good. Like for example, sport. Since you don't want to do sport, I give you some goodies so you go and become healthy. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So that is part of a policy planning perspective. But when you start linking all this, then you start to get interested in how the country works, right? And that's how you get into understanding current issue, general knowledge, all this.
I see. So we are essentially contributing back to our country and also helping ourselves at the same time.
Yeah, or either following the country's direction on what they think you should spend on. For example, there's one. You see here, right? There's this one, which is expenses for parents' medical treatment, dental treatment, and complete medical examination. This one you can claim up to 8,000 ringgit.
So if I spend money on all the medical treatments that you mentioned just now, for my parents, I can claim.
Correct. So what is it trying to tell you?
Means I should bring my parents go see doctor.
Take care of your parents. You get the point?
Correct.
I'm telling you, take care of our parents. If you
Yes.
take care of our parents, I will let you do some tax relief. Now, complete medical examination for parents is up to 1,000 ringgit.
Wow.
So what am I also telling you? Faster bring your parents go medical examination every year. And why do I want to do that? Because if you faster go for medical examination every year, it is quicker to discover any issue with your parents' medical stuff. Then the cost for medical could be lower and country don't need to bear such a big burden on their medical costs.
Wow.
So you see how when you follow the money, you actually see a lot of story on, You understand how things happen.
This is very well thought out.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it is kind of helping us a lot.
That's right. Yeah. And it teaches you a lot about a lot of stories. I'll just put it this way. Like, for example, just by understanding this, the country is pushing EV as they want people to adopt EV. Yeah, so EV is the direction. Now, then you think about it. How does it help you as a young person by knowing all this? Business opportunity in EV will grow.
Oh.
So if you are thinking about business, this is one area.
That I can expand on.
Correct.
Wow.
So what can you do to help the EV industry? What can you do to earn this 2005? That's why lately you notice one thing, right? There's a lot of people who advertise that they are helping you to install EV.
Really?
Yeah. So whether you buy Tesla, buy anything, they provide services to install the EV charger for you.
Wow.
And why more and more of all these people come up? It's because there's
Of
a tax
this.
relief. They know people are going to spend on it. So therefore, demand in the market will come. I faster become part of the supply.
Wow, this is a very full circle moment.
Correct. Fun, right?
Oh,
So when you understand money, this becomes financial literacy.
correct. Important. So it really is a privilege, essentially, to pay taxes.
Oh, I never thought you would say that, but yeah, okay.
Oh.
But you're right. It's a privilege to pay tax because at least you got income.
Correct. If I got no income, that's the problem.
Yeah, my evil laughter.
So, I mean, you did mention a lot about taxes just now and which tax reliefs fall under which category. Is there a cap limit for tax reliefs in total, or does it change like every year?
So because every item there already got a cap amount. So you just add all those, there's a total cap amount. And every year it will change a bit one. Government will throw in goodies and say, hey, okay, I give you this tax relief. Oh, I give you this tax relief. For example, right, like we said earlier, there's one more is a childcare. Yeah, if I send my kid to childcare, I get to deduct up to 3K.
Wow.
So what is it trying to tell us?
Send your child to child.
Yeah, so that you can go back out and work.
So smart,
Yeah,
very economical.
but also
of them.
to take care of you lah.
I mean, yes, of course. I see. I mean, do they remove certain things after a
Yes,
certain period?
time to time they'll remove certain things.
Oh, so it's about what is relevant to our economy now.
That's right. It's all about what's relevant to the needs of the people at the current moment.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about taxes, and I would say it does touch points on a lot of the basics of personal income tax as well as tax reliefs. So I also noticed that there were some comments on our YouTube as well as on our IG. There were some personal DMs about taxes, and I was wondering if we could have a small little Q&A session before we end off the segment.
No problem.
Okay, so let me start with the first one. I believe you answered this a little bit, but maybe you could go a bit more in depth on why it's important. So let's say I'm a freelancer and I have a full-time job as well. Do I have to declare taxes for my freelance job, or can I just omit that?
Answer is yes. You have to declare the tax for that. In fact, if let's say your freelance job consists of like being an insurance agent or unit trust agent, they actually will have proper documentation that you are receiving this income.
Oh.
So if one day you kena tax audit, you will be immediately caught bluff lah.
Okay, but what if, let's say, it is more of like a at-home kind of servicing? Like, for example, I decided to start a small nail salon in my home or a small bakery, and I only bake goods from time to time, and around each month I probably get 1K maximum. Do I have to declare tax for that as well?
As a good citizen of Malaysia, you should lah.
So regardless of what, as long as it is an income, I always have to declare tax.
Regardless of income, you should, because you're a good citizen of Malaysia. But I also do know that a lot of people, when they collect cash, they don't declare.
Oh.
And you notice that sometimes, like especially Chinese restaurant, coffee shop, mama, they don't even give you a receipt last time.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So whether they declare or not, you don't know. And there's no paper trail. So how would the tax man check, right?
Yeah, how?
If they want to investigate you, suddenly they will send someone there to go and makan every day. And they will just calculate.
Wow.
They'll calculate, then estimate. No? Then after they slap you with a very big bill, then you're like, what on earth? Then I tell you, go and pay this amount because this is my estimate. Then now you have to prove that your estimate is not that.
That's very dangerous.
Correct. So generally, if you're 1,000 ringgit, they won't make all the effort to come and do this. But if you're big enough, you really want to be very careful. They will really investigate. And their style generally is they slap you a big amount.
Okay.
Yeah, they tell you based on my estimation, you're making 10 million.
Wow.
And then you're like, huh?
How can I justify that I'm not?
then earlier you actually lari say 3 million only. Now they tell you 10 million. You're like, oh my God. Then
Where am I going to find the money?
yeah. Then now you're like, I need to prove that it is 3 million.
I see.
And they say, oh, okay, so actually you run 3 million, right? I'll pay up on 3 million. So it's kind of like you get caught bluff and then now you need to show him the truth.
I see. And regardless of which situation, it's a lose-lose for me.
Yes, it's a lose-lose for you because on top of the amount, you need to pay a fine.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So that's what happened if I don't pay taxes.
That's right. If you don't pay taxes, you get called, discovered, you need to pay a fine.
Do I go to jail?
Of your amount. You don't want to pay, you can go jail.
Wow.
Yeah, they can sue you up to bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay, important. Please pay your taxes.
that's right.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. So this person stated, I recently changed jobs last year for the very first time and was told that I need to file for my previous company and my current one.
Yes.
How do I get about this?
Okay. Remember we talked about the EA form?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every company will have to issue an EA form to people that they paid, employees that they paid to. So this person will have 2 EA forms, one from previous employer, one from new employer.
But how do you file taxes for both employers?
You plus yourself lah. You take 2 EA form, one EA form 50,000, the other EA form 10,000. Then you calculator 60k. Then you put it inside your.
Oh, so it's total amount.
Yes,
I
because
see.
when you go inside the portal the time, they will ask you to fill up what is your gross salary ma.
Correct.
Then you just fill it there lor.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all the questions that we actually have about taxes. So we've come to the end of the episode, and to provide our audience with one key takeaway, what would it be about this entire episode?
I think it's very important that you file your taxes and pay attention to the tax reliefs so that you can legally pay less. Yeah. And number 2 is try to appreciate taxes more than just about paying or not paying, that kind of thing. Try to understand why are they giving you this kind of relief.
Oh,
Because once you take a look at it, you understand it, like what we talked about just now.
correct.
Your general knowledge will gain significantly, right? And it gives you a better picture of how money is being used to shape behavior or how money can use to create wealth and economic direction.
I see.
And this is a bigger picture of a financial literacy that will help you a lot in your life. Because imagine if you can talk like that, right? As a fresh grad and you talk to your bosses, what does your bosses think about you?
Wow, so knowledgeable,
That's right.
well educated.
That's right. Yeah. So you are able to converse at a higher level.
I see. Easier for networking. So with that said, we've come to the end of the episode, and thank you so much, Peter, for being on Figuring It Out and helping us figure out personal income taxes, and tax reliefs.
Yeah. Moment high.
Okay, so don't forget to follow us on both of our Instagram handles at Mr. Money TV as well as figuringit_out.pod. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, don't forget to leave a comment down below and we'll try to tackle it in the next episode. And remember, at the end of the day, we're all just figuring it out. Bye bye.
See you next time.